Dear students, now we are going to discuss Kepler's laws in satellite communication. The German astronomer Johannes Kepler derived three laws which are mainly used to describe the motion of planets around the sun. Simply planetary motion, okay? In satellite communication, Kepler's laws can be applied to any two bodies in space. We can consider the primary body as the Earth, secondary body as the satellite, okay? That is artificial satellite. So, this Kepler's laws are mainly used to describe the principle of satellite that revolves around the Earth, okay? There are three Kepler's laws. Let's start with the first one, that is Kepler's first law. It is also called as law of orbit. So the first law states that the path followed by a satellite around the primary will be an ellipse. That means the path of the satellite around the earth is always ellipse. Okay. So here an ellipse has two focal points F1 and F2. So we can consider the mass. Okay, the primary mass will always be centered at any one of the focal points. It can be either at F1 or F2. So this horizontal line is called as major axis, that is 2A. Vertical line is minor axis, that is 2B. So this half is known as semi-major axis, that is A. Here this half is known as semi-minor axis. Okay. So the next one is barycenter. So it is the center of primary mass of two body system. It is always centered on one of the focal points. Okay. In satellite communication, the center of mass coincides in the center of Earth. That is the primary mass. Okay. Three orbital parameters are used to represent the path of the satellite: eccentricity, semi-major axis A, semi-minor axis B. So eccentricity can be calculated from the formula square root of A squared minus B squared by A. So for an elliptical path, this eccentricity value should always be between 0 to 1. That is, its value is greater than 0, less than 1. When this eccentricity value is equal to 0, the orbit becomes circular. Eccentricity is equal to 1 means its value is parabola. Eccentricity value is less than 1, it is elliptical path. E is greater than 1 means hyperbola path. Okay. Next, Kepler's second law. It is also called as law of equal area. It states that for equal time intervals, a satellite will sweep out equal areas in its orbital plane focused at the barycenter. That means if a satellite travels the distance here S1 and S2 in 1 second, then the area A1 covered by the distance S1 and area covered by this distance A2 both will be equal. Do you all understand this one? So when the satellite travels the distance S1 at one point and S2 at then another point in 1 second, the areas will be covered equally. So that is the meaning of this. So here we can say the velocity at S2 is less than that at S1 because the distance S1 is closer to the Earth. So that velocity is higher. Correct. But at this S2 distance, the velocity is less than S1 because it is far away from Earth. Okay. So here the satellite takes longer time when it is further away from Earth. Okay. That is called as Kepler's second law. So the next one is Kepler's third law. It is also called as law of period. Okay. So here it states that the square of the periodic time of orbit is proportional to the cube of the mean distance between two bodies. So it can be simply explained over here. Here A cube is equal to mu by n square. So what is n here? Mean motion of the satellite in radians per second. Correct? So here mu is the Earth's geocentric gravitational constant. Its value is always 3.986005 into 10 to the power 14 meter cube per second square. Okay. So here A cube is equal to the square of periodic time. Correct. So how can we get this relation? Here n is nothing but n is equal to 2 pi by p. Here p is the orbital period. We can substitute this value here. We can get A cube is equal to mu by 2 pi squared into p squared. So we can get the direct relation. That is cube of the mean distance between two bodies is equal to square of the periodic time. Okay. So as I told you, orbital period can be represented as p is equal to 2 pi by n. From this we can get n is equal to 2 pi by p. We have to substitute this value in the third law. A cube is equal to mu by 2 pi by b the whole square. Then we can get the relation A cube is directly proportional to square of the orbital period. Okay. So the major advantages of this third law are given here. It provides fixed relationship between period and semi-major axis. Here we can easily determine the geostationary orbit by using the rotational period of Earth. Okay. So next we are going to discuss Newton's law. There are two Newton's laws are used in this satellite communication. Newton's law of universal gravitation, Newton's law of motion. So these two laws are used to represent the orbital mechanisms of satellite communication. So the first law, that is law of universal gravitation. So here we are going to consider the gravitational force of attraction between two bodies. So here this gravitational force is directly proportional to the product of their masses. Okay, so one is for primary, another one is for secondary. Okay, so it is directly proportional to the product of their masses m and small m, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Okay, so it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So that is the first law. Okay, the next one is Newton's second law. So here we have to consider the inertial force. So here the acceleration of a body is directly proportional to the force acting on it. Simply F is directly proportional to the acceleration of a body, and also the acceleration is inversely proportional to its mass. Correct? A is inversely proportional to its mass. Okay, so that is Newton's second law of motion. Okay.